In preparing for this conversation, Hirsch, I did a little bit of research about attention spans, and I found out that humans have about 8 seconds and goldfish have 9. Isn't that incredible?
I'm sorry, what?
You were demonstrating.
I lost you. I had you right up until you said something about going fishing, and I don't know what it was.
Okay.
But yes, it's true. We do have short attention spans. We are, we like to lay blame all over the place about, it's because editing has become so choppy. Which is what people have been saying for
or
like
advertising. Advertising.
Yeah.
The fact that do you know that ads used to be a full minute and then they became 30 seconds, then they became 15, and now I think they're down to 10.
Well, having worked in that industry, the 60-second commercial had lent itself to 45 seconds, 30 seconds, 15 seconds. Now there's pre-roll. Now there's, just literally a few seconds, 5 seconds of something. So we are in a very short attention span world. I think what we can explore today, Nancy, is why are we trying to grab people's attention? What is our intention for grabbing their attention? And what are some things that we can do to better use that little time that we have?
So, of course, the obvious answer about why we're trying to grab someone's attention is because we are in the position of wanting to do business with people. And the way you start to do business with someone is you need to start with a relationship. At least that's the best suggestion I have. I know there are plenty of people out there that says, say hello to me, shake my hand, here's my business card, buy my stuff. But that isn't the way you and I operate. And so it's about creating and developing a relationship. And hence, that's why we're trying to become visible, grab someone's attention, say, here I am, look at me, look at me.
Yeah. And it was interesting. I looked at it. I was sent somebody's website to look at this morning, and I noticed that they were, I don't know if it was consciously or not, following a protocol that I've started using with my clients, which is that you have either 2 sections or 2 websites. You have a Hire Me website, which really gets right to the point and makes it easy for people who already know about you to procure your services. And then there's a Hear Me website, which is where they learn about you. And I was shown this website, and it had all of this content and all of these things. And then there was another link that they had sent. And as soon as I went there, it was, hire this person for your event, get this person's program, get their course. And it's very much the way I operate and tell people to operate, which is, let people know why you want their attention. Because if it's this meandering thing of get to know me, when are they going to buy your services?
You're raising such an important point, and it actually is one that is a sore spot, if I can use that term, for many of my clients. And the sore spot is that you want to develop the relationship, and you're there with an open heart to listen and to understand, and maybe even to clarify so that your prospect has an understanding of what's going on. And then in the back of your mind is the wheel is turning, but I'm here to make a sale. I need to have a client, and need to, meaning that after all, that is why we're in business, is to generate a living and support ourselves, our families, and our communities. So it's that conflict, and I called it a sore spot because for many of us, it's a huge dilemma. We feel like we're caught between 2 difficult choices, and we don't know the way out. So yeah. I love this idea of the 2 websites. I'm thinking I may steal that and go ahead and look into that for myself.
Well, I feel like it aligns with the mantra of sell the truth,
Mhm.
because people know, and you tell me, people know when they are in the market for something. And when they're in the market for something, they do want the fastest route to buying it. They want access to check the references and check the information. And certainly the what I call the Hire Me site has some testimonials, some social proof. But it's about ease of execution. It's about, I respect your time, you respect my time,
Yeah.
and when you are ready, this is the place to go. And if I think you're ready, I may share this place, but you can always go over here and learn more and enjoy the investigative process.
Yeah.
There are people, and this goes to your likability types. There
Mhm.
are people who really want a lot of info and a lot
Mhm.
of depth, and they
Mhm.
want to go. They want to know everything. They want to know how it works, but you can't put that in front of every
Mhm.
potential
Mhm.
client.
Yeah. How does this second website, the Hire Me website, differ from a landing page? And while you're collecting your thoughts about that, I want to mention, and this is one of my issues, that I do have a number of landing pages for various things I offer, from free items to paid items. And people will ask me, well, is that on your website? And the truth is that although it's, quote, connected to my website, it starts with nancyzaire.com, but then there's a / and the name of the landing page. And hence, when you're looking at my website, it's not a tab, it's not there, it's not a cookie that pops up. So hence, I'm wondering, how does this Hire Me website differ from a landing page?
That's a really, really wonderful question, Nancy. And the Hire Me site is outfitted with everything that falls under the category of revenue. In other words, from my point of view as a marketer or selling a product, I I look at it in terms of my ecosystem. I have certain things that are for thought leadership, some that are for marketing, some that are for revenue, some that are all three. But the Hire Me site is where revenue is what it's about. It's for people who want to buy, and it's for things I want to sell. So it's not e-commerce per se.
Yeah.
It's not like an apparel shop, but it's similar in that you're going to have some stories about me. You're going to have some an episode of my podcast versus an entire catalog of all my podcast episodes. You're going to have an appearance that I made versus all of my appearances. You're going to have my book on there, but you're going to be pretty you're not going to have all the excerpts that I maybe have shared on LinkedIn. Whereas the Hear Me site is the deep dive into who I am
Mhm.
and what my thought leadership is all about, whereas maybe one speaking engagement might appear on my Hire Me site, and then a link to how to book me. But if you've already done the research, you don't need to
Yeah.
see all of my appearances, all of my speaking engagements, my entire, history, my
So,
comedy, my stand-up comedy, for example. You
so
don't
it's
really need
it,
to see that.
it's kind of like a Reader's Digest version. This the Hire Me
Yeah,
page, a Reader's Digest version. And I'm guessing, do you use backlinks to go between them or not?
yeah. And I think that it's important for people to get where they want to go.
Right.
And if they end up there, I want them to feel like, there's there's a way to learn more.
Mhm.
But I want it to be clean, and I
Mhm.
want it to be easy. Easy is
Right.
the best, easy and clean. And I want the audience to feel like I've anticipated their needs. So when I'm on LinkedIn, let's say, LinkedIn will first and foremost maybe have a link to the Hear Me site. It may lead them to the Hear Me site. Now, the Hear Me site points everywhere in that site points to the Hire Me site, because it's not going to take you out on a wild goose chase, but it's going to be a lot of content. But the big buttons there are going to be the Hire Me site, because now they're getting serious. They've seen me. And to your system, if they require 8 touch points before hiring me, let's say, they're going to have them at their disposal. They can talk to me on LinkedIn. They can see me on Facebook. They can see me on Instagram. They can see my content on YouTube, and they can learn more about me on the Hear Me site. And they'll have my full blog, let's say. But when they're ready, the Hire Me site, what I really think it does is it puts them in the frame of mind to enroll in my programs and buy my products. You tell me what you think about that, because I could say book a meeting, or there's something about the selling aspect that I want it to be intentional, transparent, and organic.
What's interesting, Hirsch, is that statistically about 90% of people do not ask for the sale. It's a huge number. And it seems amazing that any of us are still in business with that statistic, especially us coaches, consultants, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, etc. We don't ask. We are hoping that the prospect, after reading, listening, asking questions, talking to us, will be so motivated as to say, how do I work with you? Or, what do you charge? Now, of course, if somebody says, what do you charge right at the beginning, that ain't a prospect, folks, in case you're wondering. Is not a prospect. Yesterday, I was working with a law firm, and the intake workers were telling me that they get calls, inbound calls from people, and the first thing out of their mouth is, what do you charge? Well, that is not really a prospect. And in that case, give them an answer and send them on their merry way, because this is not someone that you're going to do business with. And good luck to that person. But again, the attention span of a goldfish or less, right? This person only wants a number, and that number, believe me, it's going to be either too high or too low. It's never the right number. No matter what we answer, that number's wrong.
Well, that's because that number is not attached to any value. It's almost like saying, how much is a suit? And you say, well, it's $450. You don't know what kind of suit it is. You don't know what it is. You just know the price. I have a drop down on my homepage where I have some frequently asked questions. And one of the questions is, do you charge by the word or by the hour? And the answer is no. I charge neither by the word nor by the hour. We talk about what you need, and I may have a program that suits it, but I don't break it down that way. My hours is not your hour. My word is not your word.
Your hour is not their hour, because how many hours have you and I invested in who we are today?
That's right. Yeah.
Our hours, never their hour. Plus, of course, we are investing time before, during, and after we actually talk with prospects and clients. So, well, we're coming to the end of this session on attention span for sellers and buyers. We've really talked mostly about the buyer aspect of attention span. Any quick thoughts about the attention span for sellers?
We might do that next week, talk about the attention span of sellers, because we're as guilty, are we even interested in ourselves? How interested are we in ourselves when we've had presumably a lot of those conversations over and over again? Yeah. So we might want to explore, how do we stay interested in ourselves? How do we pay attention? How long can we pay attention to our own elevator pitch?
Oh my. Well, that should be an interesting conversation. And for those of you who are listening, watching, especially the replay people, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Did you know about the Hear Me versus Hire Me websites? Do you have one? If so, I'd love to hear more about it. Maybe even drop your links in the comments because I'd love to explore. And with that, we're going to sign off. I'm Dr. Nancy Zare, Sales Whisperer.
And I'm Hirsch Repun, your personal brand builder.